Let me ask you something. How many times have you been absolutely sure about something? Your career choice, your financial plan, even your relationships, only to realize later that you were wrong? Think about it. In America today, we're told to stick to our guns, to trust our gut, and to never back down. But what if the real secret to success isn't about holding on tighter? It's about letting go faster. This book, Think Again by Adam Grant, is about the power of rethinking. It's about why the smartest people aren't the ones who know the most. They're the ones who are willing to admit what they don't know. By the end of this video, you'll see how rethinking can transform your career, your money decisions, your relationships, and even your happiness. If you've ever felt stuck, frustrated, or trapped by your own beliefs, this is the wake-up call you've been waiting for. Stay with me, because the lessons we're about to explore could change the way you see your entire life. We live in a culture that celebrates confidence. From Wall Street traders to Silicon Valley entrepreneurs, being sure is seen as strength. But here's the catch. Being too sure can blind us. Imagine a young professional in New York who invests all his savings into one hot stock because he's convinced it'll skyrocket. He ignores advice, refuses to research alternatives, and mocks anyone who disagrees. A year later, the company tanks, and so does his financial future. The lesson? Confidence without humility is dangerous. Success in America today isn't about being right all the time. It's about being willing to rethink when the evidence changes.
Think about relationships. How many couples break up because one person refuses to change their perspective? Picture a woman in Chicago who insists her partner must follow her exact career plan. She never rethinks, never compromises. Eventually, the relationship collapses under the weight of stubbornness. Rethinking isn't just about money or work, it's about love. The strongest relationships aren't built on being right, they're built on being willing to rethink together.
In America, we often celebrate experts. But the truth is, experts can get stuck. Students, on the other hand, are always learning. Imagine a mid-level manager in Texas who thinks he knows everything about leadership. He stops listening to his team, stops reading new research, and eventually gets replaced by someone younger and more adaptable. The student mindset means staying curious, asking questions, and being willing to say, "I don't know." That humility is what keeps you growing. Money is emotional. Americans often cling to financial habits because that's how we've always done it. Take someone who refuses to rethink their debt strategy. They keep paying minimum credit card payments, convinced it's fine. Years later, they're drowning in interest. Rethinking means asking, is this really working for me? Sometimes the smartest financial move isn't doubling down. It's admitting your plan is broken and starting fresh. Workplaces often reward people who stick to the plan, but sticking to the wrong plan can ruin careers. Imagine a Silicon Valley engineer who refuses to rethink his outdated coding style. He insists it's the best way, even as the industry moves on. Eventually, he's left behind. The workplace trap is believing that loyalty to old methods equals success. In reality, the people who thrive are those who rethink, adapt, and evolve. In America, we often treat being wrong like failure. But what if being wrong is actually progress? Picture a young entrepreneur in Los Angeles who launches a startup with a bold idea. At first, it flops. Instead of hiding, she studies the failure, rethinks her approach, and pivots. A year later, her company thrives. Being wrong isn't the end, it's the beginning of learning. The people who grow fastest are those who celebrate mistakes as stepping stones. Scientists don't cling to beliefs, they test them. They run experiments, gather data, and rethink when results change. Imagine a high school teacher in Ohio who treats her classroom like a lab. She tries new teaching methods, measures student engagement, and adapts. Her students thrive because she rethinks constantly. The scientist mindset means treating life like an experiment. Instead of defending your beliefs, you test them against reality.
Social media in America often traps us in echo chambers. We follow people who agree with us, block those who don't, and end up stuck in a bubble. Picture a college student scrolling through Twitter, only seeing posts that confirm his political views. He feels smarter, but in reality, he's just reinforcing his bias. Escaping echo chambers means listening to people who challenge us. Growth doesn't come from agreement, it comes from rethinking.
In America, success is often measured by money, titles, and possessions. But what if success is about growth, not status? Imagine a lawyer in New York who earns six figures but feels empty. She rethinks her definition of success, leaves corporate law, and starts a nonprofit. She earns less but feels fulfilled. Rethinking success means asking, what truly matters to me? Sometimes the bravest move is redefining success on your own terms. Most people listen to reply, not to rethink, but listening deeply can change everything. Picture a father in Florida who always argues with his teenage son. One day, he decides to just listen. He rethinks his approach, and suddenly their relationship improves. Listening isn't weakness, it's wisdom. When you listen, you open the door to rethinking. One of the biggest barriers to rethinking is identity. When we tie our beliefs to who we are, changing them feels like betrayal. Imagine a young man in Texas who grew up believing real men don't show emotion. He clings to that identity even when it hurts his relationships. Only when he rethinks what masculinity means does he find freedom. Identity should be flexible, not fixed. The strongest people aren't those who defend their identity at all costs. They're the ones who rethink it when it no longer serves them. One of the biggest barriers to rethinking is identity. When we tie our beliefs to who we are, changing them feels like betrayal. Imagine a young man in Texas who grew up believing real men don't show emotion. He clings to that identity even when it hurts his relationships. Only when he rethinks what masculinity means does he find freedom. Identity should be flexible, not fixed. The strongest people aren't those who defend their identity at all costs. They're the ones who rethink it when it no longer serves them. Curiosity is the fuel of rethinking. Without it, we stay stuck. Imagine a teenager in Michigan who questions why his school teaches certain subjects but ignores financial literacy. His curiosity leads him to research money management, and by 25, he's debt-free. Curiosity isn't just about asking questions. It's about daring to explore answers that challenge the norm.
Stubbornness feels safe. It makes us feel strong. But in reality, it costs us opportunities. Picture a factory worker in Detroit who refuses to learn new technology. He insists the old machines are good enough. Eventually, the factory automates and he's left behind. Stubbornness is expensive. The cost isn't just money, it's growth, relationships, and happiness.
Rethinking isn't just about success. It's about freedom. When you let go of old beliefs, you free yourself from the weight of being right. Imagine a woman in Colorado who grew up believing she had to follow a traditional path, marriage, kids, house. She rethinks, chooses her own path, and finds joy in independence. Freedom comes when you stop defending outdated beliefs and start living authentically. In America, debates often turn into shouting matches. But real debate isn't about winning, it's about learning. Picture two college friends in Boston arguing about climate change. Instead of yelling, they pause, listen, and rethink. By the end, both walk away with new insights. Debate should be about curiosity, not combat. When you debate to learn, you grow. We crave certainty. It feels safe. But certainty can be a trap. Imagine a financial advisor in New Jersey who promises clients guaranteed returns. When the market crashes, his certainty destroys trust. The truth is, life is uncertain. The people who thrive aren't those who cling to certainty. They're those who rethink and adapt. Carol Dweck's idea of the growth mindset connects perfectly with rethinking. It's about believing you can improve, not being stuck in "this is who I am." Picture a young athlete in Atlanta who fails to make the varsity team. Instead of quitting, he rethinks his training, works harder, and makes the team next year. Growth comes from rethinking failure as feedback. Humility isn't weakness, it's strength. It's the ability to say, "I don't know, but I'm willing to learn." Picture a doctor in Chicago who admits she doesn't have all the answers. She consults colleagues, rethinks her approach, and saves a patient's life. Humility opens the door to rethinking. Without it, we stay stuck in arrogance. The future isn't built by those who cling to the past. It's built by rethinkers. Imagine a young coder in Seattle who embraces AI tools instead of fearing them. He rethinks his career path, learns new skills, and becomes a leader in the tech revolution. The people who thrive in the next decade will be those who rethink faster than the world changes. So here's the big takeaway. Life isn't about being right all the time. It's about being willing to rethink. We've explored how rethinking can transform your money habits, your relationships, your career, and even your definition of success. The truth is, the people who thrive in America today aren't the ones who cling to certainty. They're the ones who adapt, who stay curious, and who embrace humility. If you take one thing from this book, let it be this: the freedom to rethink is the freedom to grow. Every time you let go of an outdated belief, you make space for a better future. So ask yourself, what's one thing in your life you need to rethink today? That single decision could change everything. If this video gave you a new perspective, do me a favor, hit that like button. It really helps the channel. Comment your favorite lesson from today's video. Share this with a friend who needs to hear it, and subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive. We're building a community of rethinkers here, and I'd love for you to be part of it.